All right, back at it again. So right now all we have is a cube. And I know that I promised you a dice, and I plan to deliver. So let's start talking about what makes up, what constitutes a dice. Obviously, it starts with a cube, one by one by one. We have that done. Now, to make it a dice instead of just a box or cube, we're going to have to start to add numbers or dots or dimples to the side of it. So the easiest one to start with is 1. I'm going to need some rough idea of how the heck to get to the middle here, to this middle spot. So one thing that I'd like to do is I'm going to use a line. And I'm going to draw from this endpoint right here. Oh, before we go any further, do you see what happens when I just wave this drawing tool and any part of my drawing? It's giving me information. It's letting me know, for this example, if it's a blue diamond, that it's on the face of the object. It's on the face, so that way I know that it's touching it. If it's a red square, and it's going to tell you too, it's on the edge. Green circles are endpoints. Teal circles are your midpoints. These are super important to get used to, not only in SketchUp, icon colors might be different, but the concepts of you have things to snap to draw is super important in any CAD software, any drawing program, okay? So when we're clicking, don't just arbitrarily, that means just make it up. Don't arbitrarily just start clicking on stuff and hope that it works out. Make sure that we're getting endpoints, midpoints, edges, faces, whatever you need to complete the drawing correctly. So for this, to draw our 1 on the side, I'm going to click on this endpoint. It's the same as the other drawing tools. Click and release without moving the mouse. Okay? So I'm going to click on this endpoint, move the mouse up to here, and I'm going to click again on this endpoint. I'm done drawing lines for now, so I can hit spacebar. Ta-da! Cool, man, Carrie. We got a diagonal. Now what? Well, now what is we can press C for circle, and this is going to allow us to find, look at that. Man, I'm good. Look at how quick I found that midpoint. Bang, right there. So I'm going to click, don't move the mouse. Click and release, and I'm going to start to pull this out to the side. You'll notice again in the bottom corner here, it's giving us a radius. I want the diameter of the circle to be 1/8 of an inch. So what would that make the radius? Gee, I know radius is half a diameter, so it's half of an eighth. And I also know the quickest way to cut a fraction in half is to double the denominator. That's the bottom number. What? So short answer, if I know I want the diameter to be 1/8, I know that the radius is a 16th. So let's type that in. 1/16, enter. We have ourselves a circle. Looks great. We know it's in the center because it was right on the midpoint there. Awesome sauceum. I can hit spacebar to erase. And now I can go through and erase my unneeded lines. Wowzer. We have ourselves a 1. Now what about the rest of the sides? Dun, 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 dun. Miraculous thing about dice is that your opposite sides are always, always, always going to add up to 7. So if a 1's on this side, there will be a 6 on this side. How the heck do we go about drawing a 6? Well, we still need our guidelines, and we're going to need to start in a similar fashion. Even though there's not going to be one that goes directly in the center, I'm still going to use my guidelines coming across here to here. Look at that. Wow, man. Wow, that's pretty great. This will make sense at the end, but for the time being, you're going to have to trust me. What I'm going to do now is add more lines in. Right here, and right here from midpoint to midpoint. Okay? So now what I have is I have a place to put a dot up here, one to put one in the middle here, and one to put one in the bottom here. That would be 3 dots, plus another 3 dots, is a total of 6 dots. So that's what we're going to do. Does anybody remember what letter I pressed for circle? If you said C, you would be correct. C Make sure you're on this endpoint right here. Click and come out. Our radius is going to be 1/16. Although it's going to auto guess for you, it's still great practice to do it yourself. 1/16. Enter. Please do all of the outside 4 first. Reason being, if you don't, your midpoints are going to change. Okay? So do these 4 first. Now I can do these midpoint ones. That's going to be 1/16. And this will also be 1/16. And then I can press E for erase, click and hold just like a real eraser, and go around and erase all of the unneeded stuff. I feel like this is a great time to mention another tool that's going to be super important. Whoops! Look at all these mistakes I just made. Oh my gosh! Whatever will I do? I don't want to go back and redo the whole thing. So if I'm not in a command, so I press spacebar to exit that command. A big mistake I made, I just erased way too much stuff. To fix it or to undo it, you can come up here to hit the undo button. But the faster way is to hold Control and press Z. Okay, it's going to undo that one. Undo that. Phew! I got it all back, baby. Right back to where it should be. So, if you make a mistake, hold Control and press Z. If you thought, that wasn't a mistake, I want to redo that, you can hold Control and press Y, and that's your redo. Control Z, undo. Control Y, you got to hold Control and press Y, is redo. Hold Control, press Z, undo. Hold Control, press Y, redo. Yay! So, we learned a few different commands. We also learned how to fix or go back on our mistakes. What I'd like you to do now is just finish off erasing the rest of this. And that's going to be it for this tutorial. We went over our numbers. We have our 1 and our 6 started. We'll do the 2, 3, 4, and 5 next. That's going to be silly easy for you, I promise. But first, get your 1 and your 6 done. When you're done with that, come on back, Captain Jack.